Justice is a very important question. Who should suffer justice, who should inflict it, on behalf of who, and exactly how much justice should there be? Well, this group of about 50 Jewish Holocaust survivors believed they had the answer. Their name was Nakam, which means revenge in English. Their goal was to inflict revenge for the Holocaust upon the Nazis and upon the German population. They killed fascists in Ukraine, Croatia, Russia, and Germany. On one occasion, they found a Polish doctor who was removing the symbol tattoos of former members of the SS. This was so nobody could identify them as servants of the Third Reich. Nakam captured that doctor and demanded to know the names of the people he had helped. That doctor refused and declared that he had killed so many Jews and that he would kill many more as he could. Nakam tortured that doctor for hours before finally they killed him. One particularly deadly massacre they planned was in a prisoner of war camp in Nuremberg, holding thousands of former Nazis. They planned it for months, getting jobs there and working out the escape routes. But on the moment of truth, at the day when the plan could be put into action finally, the workers in the bread factory went on strike. They marched out and locked the doors behind them, meaning it was impossible for Nakam to get the full squad in there to carry out the mass murder. Their goal was to contaminate 14,000 loaves, but the few that did make it into the building were caught. Nakam escaped the scene, but it looked like an attempted robbery. So naturally, the guards assumed it was an attempted robbery, and everything went on as normal. Except it didn't, because on that day in 1946, the 2,000 loaves that Nakam managed to contaminate were fed to the Nazi prisoners of war. Estimates vary wildly. Anywhere from 700 to over 2,000 people died in the attack. Nakam continued killing Nazis. One trick they would use was they'd go up to the concentration camps and get forged orders, transfer certain Nazi officers to different camps. So they would take said Nazi officer out of the camp under the guise of transferring them to another camp and shoot them. They actually considered bombing the Nuremberg trials and killing all 21 of the defendants of the Nuremberg trials. However, they didn't do that because that would involve killing a lot of non-Nazi people, which they didn't want to do. However, the largest mass attack they ever considered, known only as Plan A, was an operation so massive that their work would be able to cease, because they would have successfully avenged the 6 million Jews that died in the Holocaust. It was an operation that would kill millions of Germans. Benny seemed rather embarrassed, and he hesitated before going on. The Nakam leaders evolved a scheme which was disclosed only to a very few people. Much time and money went into the preparations. We knew that if we succeeded, no other action would be necessary. Looking back, it would be called a diabolical scheme. It was designed to kill millions of Germans, yes, millions, and all at the same time. Men, women, and children, old and young. The main difficulty was that we wanted to kill only Germans, and at that time, there were large Allied armies and thousands of displaced persons of all nationalities still in Germany. Besides, some of us were loath to commit such a terrible deed, even against Germans. Their plan was to poison the Nuremberg water supply. It took a while and it took quite a lot of attempts, but eventually they got their hands on the poison they needed. Multiple reasons were given for why they didn't go ahead with the attack. One of them was that they didn't want to kill non-German people, of which there were a lot. Another was that the local authorities found out about it, or that Israel found out about it and forbade the attack. Either way, they didn't go ahead with their plan.